This is Net News Network headline news for Friday, May 20th, 2022. Well, instead of being raised on a farm or a ranch, your meat could soon be grown in petri dishes in a high-tech laboratory. And according to this article, there's nothing about soon to be, it will be. An Israeli company called Future Meat Technologies has built its first lab-grown meat plant in which it plans to use bioreactors to churn out cell-cultured meat for American restaurants. The company, which is in talks with the FDA and USDA, plans to begin shipping the test tube meat to the United States by the end of this year. Also known as cellular meat, production of the product involves retrieving stem cells from a live animal's muscles and then culturing them in a nutrient-rich liquid. The clusters of multiplying cells grow around a scaffold which helps the tissue take on the desired shape, nuggets or patties, for example. The result is a product that looks and tastes like meat because it's made from animal cells rather than plant-based products. The FDA and USDA quietly gave lab meat the green light back in 2018. In a press release, the agencies announced that the FDA would oversee cell collection, cell banks, and cell growth and differentiation, while the USDA would oversee the production and labeling of the poultry and livestock products. Tyson and Cargill are the top two investors in lab-grown animal protein technology so far. The American Meat Science Association worries that lab-grown protein is not as safe or nutritious as traditional meat. No kidding. Who knows what other chemicals they're going to put in that, and that's just what we need, is more chemicals in our bodies. Anthony Fauci's wife, who is also the head of the Department of Bioethics at the National Institutes of Health Clinical Center, authored a paper defending the ethics of corporations pressuring employees to get vaccinated and embarrassing vaccine resistors. The study, called The Ethics of Encouraging Employees to Get the COVID-19 Vaccination, was funded by the National Institutes of Health Clinical Center and the National Human Genome Research Institute, and counted Christine Grady, Fauci's wife, amongst its authors. Published in March 2022, the paper followed attempts by the White House as well as Democratic Party politicians across America to mandate COVID-19 vaccination for federal and state workers. Grady's paper focuses on the ethics of encouragement strategies aimed at overcoming vaccine reluctance to facilitate voluntary employee vaccination. Grady and her three co-authors outline how it is ethically acceptable to subtly pressure employees to get vaccinated. While employment-based vaccine encouragement may raise privacy and autonomy concerns, though some employers might hesitate to encourage employees to get vaccinated, our analysis suggests ethically acceptable ways to inform, strongly encourage, incentivize, and even subtly pressure employees to get vaccinated. While discussing vaccine mandates, the paper posits that they can be ethically appropriate if there is clear articulation about the consequences of not complying with the policy. Grady also says that social consequences associated with peer communication about vaccinations, such as stigma and ostracization of those not vaccinated. Individuals who choose to make the workplace less safe for others through their vaccine refusal should be able to foresee the possibility of this kind of social consequence. The unearthed paper comes amidst controversy over Fauci's decision to fund research on the bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Additionally, Grady's prominent role in supervising the ethics of NIH research and policy appear to present a conflict of interest, given her husband's role in shaping America's COVID-19 response and vaccination guidelines. Yeah, just a small conflict of interest there. Former New York Mayor Bill DeBlasio announced Friday that he will be seeking the Democratic nomination for the newly drawn 10th Congressional District of New York. Representative Gerald Nedler occupies the seat but has announced his plans to vacate. Just what we need is DeBlasio in the federal political realm. In a split with party leaders, 11 Senate Republicans Thursday voted against a bill to send $40 billion in military aid to Ukraine as Russia's invasion of the nation nears its fourth month. Despite some GOP opposition, the bill passed by a final tally of 86 to 11 with the support of leadership from both parties and a significant majority of Republican senators. It will now go to President Biden's desk where it was signed. And so, even though we have many of our own problems here at home, we're going to send $40 billion to the Ukraine. Russia is halting its supply of natural gas to Finland, the Finnish state-owned energy firm Gasum says. Finland has been refusing to pay for its supplies in rubles, but it also follows an announcement that Finland will apply for NATO membership. Gasum said the move was regrettable, but said there would be no disruption to customers. Finland imports most of its gas from Russia, but gas accounts for less than a tenth of the country's energy consumption. On Sunday, Russia also cut off electricity supplies to Finland. It had threatened retaliation should Finland apply to NATO. But Finland also receives a very small percentage of electricity from Russia. On Wednesday, President Biden invoked the Defense Production Act to address the baby formula shortage that the U.S. is facing and directed his administration to use Defense Department aircraft to pick up overseas infant formula that meets U.S. health and safety standards to address the formula shortage grappling the nation. The White House said the DoD will use its contacts with commercial air cargo lines, as it did to move materials during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic, to transport products from manufacturing facilities abroad that have met the FDA safety standards. Bypassing regular air freight routes will speed up importation and distribution of formula and serve as an immediate support as manufacturers continue to ramp up production, the White House said. What took so long for him to decide to do that is the question. Maybe it was coming up with the really cool name that they thought up, Operation Fly Formula. Oh yeah. And could this be the new crisis afoot? Cases of monkeypox are being investigated in several European countries as well as the US, Canada, and Australia, according to health authorities and local media reports. The new cases were reported in Belgium, France, Australia, and Germany. This follows infections confirmed in Italy, Sweden, Spain, Portugal, the US, Canada, and the UK, where the first European case was reported. Monkeypox is most common in remote parts of Central and West Africa. Instances of the disease outside the region are often linked to travel to the area. Are this many people traveling to remote areas of Central and West Africa? Monkeypox is a rare viral infection which is usually mild and from which most people recover in a few weeks. The virus does not spread easily between people, and the risk to the wider public is said to be very low. So, how do all these people have it? There are 20 confirmed cases in the UK as of Friday. There is no specific vaccine for monkeypox, but a smallpox jab offers 85% protection since the two viruses are quite similar. Spanish health authorities have also reportedly purchased thousands of smallpox jabs to deal with the outbreak. So here we go. Something that is already said to be very rare and doesn't spread, but we've got countries buying thousands of vaccines. Why? How? World economic problems. Sri Lanka has defaulted on its debt for the first time in its history as the country struggles with its worst financial crisis in more than 70 years. A 30-day grace period to come up with the $78 million of unpaid debt interest payments expired on Wednesday. The governor of the South Asian nation central bank said the country was now in a preemptive default. Later on Thursday, two of the world's biggest credit rating agencies also said Sri Lanka had defaulted. Defaults happen when governments are unable to meet some or all of their debt payments to creditors. This is just the first of many, folks. Stay tuned. Oklahoma legislators have passed a law banning abortion after conception, which critics say is the most restrictive such measure in the U.S. The Republican-led bill would prohibit all abortions except to save the life of a pregnant woman or if the pregnancy is the result of a rape or incest. It comes after a leak suggested the U.S. Supreme Court may quash a 1973 ruling that legalized abortion nationwide. Good for you, Oklahoma. This has been Net News Network Headline News for Friday, May 20th, 2022. For more, visit netnewsnetwork.net. Thanks for listening.